Hey, everybody. Rob Cairns, CEO and Chief Creator of Amazing Ideas at StunningDigitalMarketing.com, the digital agency to fulfill all your digital marketing, WordPress design and development, and WordPress security needs. How's everybody doing today? First off, I wanted to start this week's SDM interview show for apologizing for not having the show out on a regular basis and for not being there lately. As many of you may know, a month ago, my wife Jill lost her mother. It's been about a month now. It's been a bit of a rough go for both of us, and I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that's reached out in text messages, emails, online on Facebook, said hello, been concerned. We love you all for it, and we appreciate it, and thanks so much. And we miss Jill's mom, Jane Carol McDonald, very much, and it will get better. It's just a question of getting there. This week, I wanted to do something a little different and make a couple quick announcements. Let's start with the little different. First of all, the show is now moving to Mondays. It will be produced and put out by 8 p.m. on Monday evenings, starting this week, to be a little more consistent. I've already got the next couple shows lined up, so we're going to get back on track, which is absolutely awesome. Please jump on our website at StunningDigitalMarketing.com, catch the show. And this week I'm going to do a little different. I'm going to answer a pile of questions that people have asked me on the internet. Some are fun questions, some are not so fun questions, some are business questions, some are more personal questions. And I hope it gives you some insight, and I've done this before, on some of the things that I do, my agency does, and why we do what we do. So let's start with the first one. What did I do before I got into digital marketing? Great question. Originally, I was a program analyst in the life insurance business. I spent 5 years in that business. I got out of it, and then I basically worked towards my love of working with personal computers. And my first job, and my only job in personal computers, was as a project leader and team leader doing technical support for a large hospital client services area in IT in Toronto. I absolutely loved the job for most of it. The last couple of years was a little rough. There were changes being made. I didn't really like the changes, and it was time. And 9 years ago, I got out of that. And one of the questions I get is, how did I start my agency, and what did we start doing? 9 years ago, I started doing websites, and then over time, I branched into a full digital marketing agency. The reality is, I truly believe that websites are only part of the package, and there's other things like SEO, PPC, digital products, and more that you need to do in order to help your business succeed. So I branched out pretty quickly. How did I start doing websites? Oh, there's a question I love. First site I ever did was actually an HTML-based site. And it was called the-techshop.com. And what I did was I did a quick little website for friends and family, just to kind of say to them, if you want these resources, go to this website and check them out. Don't bug me, don't email me, don't call me, because I was getting lots of calls. I mean, I've always been sort of a go-to person in my circle for help, and I got at one point fed up with providing that help. So that's how I got around it. I created a website. That website was HTML based. It was hosted on oneandone.com before I knew any better. And I even took a free domain also before I knew any better. As many of you know, I'm really not into free domains, and I really dislike oneandone.com. As much as I also dislike Endurance, EIG, International Group, and GoDaddy for hosting. And there's reasons for that, and we can talk about those later on this episode. What is the biggest challenge I have running an agency? For me, really, it's time management. I have so much on the go right now that sometimes time gets away from you. And I use a combination of a daily to-do list and a running calendar and a project management tool called Notion, which I absolutely love, to help manage that time. So Notion I use to manage projects. My to-do list is also kept in Notion. And then I use my Google Calendar to manage appointments and things like that. What is the biggest challenge I have running my own agency? What is the biggest challenge I like most of all to run my own agency? I love helping business owners succeed with their business. That is my challenge. That is my satisfaction. That's what I like to do, and that's what I'm driven by, is if I can help you succeed with your business, great, let's do it. Let's get it done, and let's make it fly. How do I learn? First of all, I tend to surround myself with people I consider smarter than me. That helps the learning big time. I'm also an avid reader. I have a large library, and I'm an avid podcast listener. It's not uncommon for me to listen to 15 or 20 podcasts in a week. I've been known to do that. I have about 16 podcasts on my podcast player, and I just cycle through stuff. So love podcasts. To me, that's the best invention going. I also like audiobooks, by the way. Audible is an amazing site, great way to learn. Join a library. I take courses online and offline. So that's a couple ways to help me learn. Many people say the internet is all bad. What are my thoughts? Not at all. So here's where I get a little bit personal. And I said in the intro for the show, I would get a little personal. 21 years ago, I met a lady whose name is Jill. We met in a Yahoo chat group. Yahoo chat groups don't exist anymore, so it tells you long before dating sites were even fashionable. They're probably just starting out about that time. We dated for a while. Jill had 2 young girls. I had a young boy. We decided after a while it really wasn't working, but we stayed as friends, and we stayed as really good friends. And we went through life. And 19 years later, we got married. Believe it or not, we got back together later in life. We got married. It's a good example of letting life take its natural course and letting it figure itself out. And we're happily married. It'll be 2 years this August 8th. So without the internet, I wouldn't have met Joe. I wouldn't be working on the internet. And I have amazing friends that I have both locally and across the world. And, I'm pretty rich for that. And that's, so the internet's not all that bad. Twitter is dead. What do I think? Wow, not at all. Twitter is still relevant today as ever before. And let me give you an example of that. For current events, for things timely in the news, for search, Twitter is still one of the most searched websites out there. And also, when Facebook goes down or Instagram goes down or WhatsApp goes down, where do everybody go to complain? Twitter. So Twitter's still relevant. And by the way, if you're a business, you shouldn't place all your eggs in one basket anyway. So if you're doing Facebook, I'd be building a community on Twitter as well. That's my personal opinion. And that's really important. Live streaming thoughts. How do you feel about live streaming? Well, I've been involved in live streaming events for over 10 years. I've live streamed in conjunction with a professional team, as well as in conjunction with even live streaming off webcams. And frankly, I think live streaming is where it's at. It's been proven that Facebook Lives do really well. I need to get back in doing them. I actually want to get into doing some YouTube Lives as well. So that's coming. And I think they do well. They show, especially if they're of an event or of people, they show the human side. And I really, really think it's important. If you want to learn more about live streaming, go look up my friend Ross Brand, livestreamdeals.com. Ross is a pro. So much better than me, and I've been doing it for a long time. But Ross, shout out to you. He's also a great resource, a good friend. So feel free, look Ross up. How do I handle people who disagree or hate me online? Wow. So I have a long association with Toronto Police. Have had for many, many years. And the reality of it all is I don't block people anymore. I used to get blocked. I used to get frustrated. Now I just say, it's the fact of being online. What I actually do is I don't unfriend them because I like to know what they're saying. So unless it gets really, really threatening, I tend to sort of keep an eye out on them just because I can't do damage control for me or my business if I don't know what my enemies are saying. There's an old saying in life, hold your friends close, but your enemies closer. So I adhere to that. I also have Google alerts on all kinds of key stuff and haters. So I kind of know what's going on there a little bit. So that helps. Someone also asked me recently when I started doing websites, what did I do about themes? And I'm a WordPress developer, so I do all my websites in WordPress. And they said, what themes do you like and what themes do you not like? I originally started off with several free themes. And then my friend Owen Greaves, shout out to Owen, in Abbotsford, BC, introduced me to a theme called Headway Themes. And Headway worked on the pearls of blocks. And unfortunately, Headway, like many other teams, fell upon some hard times and went into some financial difficulties at one time and some issues. Not uncommon in the website design business, to be honest with you. And blocks were kind of the first page builder as far as I was concerned. So it was a way to develop pages. And then I was introduced to Aveda by some mentors. And Aveda, for those who don't know, is ThemeForce's #1 selling theme of all time. Sold over $1 million worth. And Aveda has in it what's called the Fusion Builder. And the Fusion Builder is a page editor. So Aveda is great. So I use Aveda for 90% of what I do. I also have a couple of clients running Elementor-based websites, Beaver Builder-based websites, and WP Baker-based websites. And really, these are all Elementor, Beaver Builder, and WP Baker are all, page builders. And they're all designed to help you do your layout. They all have their nuances. I'm not going to get into which one is better. I personally prefer Aveda. But my friend Devinder Singh Khan will tell you he loves Beaver Builder. Devinder's a Beaver Builder guy. Want to follow him. He's a good one. My friend Mar Cohen is an Elementor gal. And Mar loves Elementor. Both good resources, by the way. Shout-outs to them and what they do. But the point is, I've learned to master Aveda. My website's all Aveda build. It's what we do for clients. Aveda works really, really well for us. And then the other thing people say to me all the time, hosting. Who do you like these days? I told the story earlier how I been through one-on-one. I've been through EIG hosts, Bluehost, PowWeb, HostGator, and GoDaddy I've never hosted with. I used to register domains with. I don't even do that. I used to use ManageWP, which is a WordPress management tool. Don't even do that. My host of choice personally is SiteGround these days. I think they're really good value for their money, and their tech support is really, really good. For, a lot of people, WP Engine would be a good choice. Flywheel would be a good choice. There are other good choices out there, Liquid Web, and so on. If you jump in any of the Facebook developer groups, people generally gravitate around the same 6 or 7 hosts. Keep in mind, hosting is part of your security solution, so that's really, really important. So that talks about hosting for the web. Email hosting's a little different. I use G Suite for my corporate email, Google spam filters, and their and their general filters for sorting out mail and their speedy use is probably the best out there as far as I'm concerned. So why run a mail server? G Suite works really well. Now, the next set of questions are just some quick, fun, not so fun questions. Some are, some aren't, but I'm going to throw them out there. So let's go. PPC or SEO? Depends what you're trying to do. PPC, pay per click, is more of a short-term strategy. SEO is more, search engine optimization is more of a longer-term strategy. I would do both, but, sometimes finances are an issue and results are. I did I did a podcast a while ago for with our CEO, and we talked about PPC is the shortest way to ROI, to return on investment. And there's no question about that. Coke or Pepsi? I'm a Coke guy, all in. Actually, Coke Zero. iOS or Android? For me, it's Android. I love the Android devices. I love what they do. I love how they function. Mac versus PC? I'm a PC Windows guy all the way. I've worked in the PC environment for a long, long time. For me, that works really well. Amazon or the mall? There's an interesting one. Amazon, all in. And I live 10 minutes from Canada's biggest shopping mall, or second biggest shopping mall, and I'd rather shop on Amazon. It's just easier. And one to make y'all laugh, Habs versus the Leafs. I'm a Habs fan, even though I live in the heart of Leafs Nation. That's just the way it is. Get over it if you don't like it. Couple trends I wanted to talk about real quickly. What's trending out there? First of all, we're in a society where everything wants everything immediate. Keep that in mind when you're posting, when you're answering what your business is. And kind of what's caused that is the smartphone. I actually tell my clients I answer my emails a couple times a day. I'm really good at it. I plan my work schedule out. I've become very good at that, and I work towards that. So that's all good. In the web game, what else is important? Voice search. Voice search. Look at Amazon Alexa, Google Home. Voice search, Siri, Google Assistant on your phone. Voice search matters. No question about that one. Chatbots are becoming very big, yet I haven't implemented one, but for some people that works. Text message marketing. A lot of people are trying that again. I actually find it really annoying, so I try not to do in my agency what I find annoying for other people. But, text message marketing is out there. Social media trends. Facebook and Instagram are still growing strong. Despite all the issues on Facebook, people still haven't left it. They haven't found the next big thing. We all know what happens every time Google gets into social media. They bomb, unless they buy it. And Google Plus is a good example of a bomb. So that's kind of a couple quick trends. Responsive websites and, frankly, apps. Mobile apps are becoming more and more trending every day. And that's interesting. Now, in the agency game, we've talked about trends. We've done some fun, short, answers. And I've talked a little bit about kind of what I do and how I do it. And frankly, in the agency game, things are changing all the time. Trends change. What we do changes. How we reach customers changes. And one of the things people ask me all the time is, you really like what you do. It's hard what you do. You're on the top 1% or 2% of what people do, which I am. And they say to me, how do you stay there? And how do you keep succeeding? And I say a couple of things. First of all, I pick my clients very carefully. I choose clients that I really like and I really want to work with. I've said no to many people over the years that I just don't want to work with. You can see it being a disaster. You can see it not being the right fit or the right personalities or things like that. It's not always just a money issue, but money does enter into it. I want to work with people that are serious about making their businesses grow because I want to help them grow them. The other thing people say is, how do you stay up to date with trends and stay current? I learn a lot. I talked about that earlier in this podcast. I'm a learning junkie, and that kind of helps me and helps how I feel and helps what I do. The third thing is, life is not all about work and agency life. Life is about my family, my wife Jill, our kids, our extended family, my mom who's still alive. Unfortunately, my dad's not. About my aunts, my uncles, and my friends. And that all matters to me as well. And if you work and all you do is work all the time, that's not good for you either. So family matters. So that's kind of how I keep saying. And I go for a walk every day to exercise. I make a point of it. I'm diabetic. It's good for my health. I work on my weight all the time. That's a good thing. And I just keep motoring ahead. And I have a drive to want to succeed, and I do succeed because of that drive. Robert Haverchuk, who many of you know being on Shark Tank, wrote an amazing book called The Will to Win. And that book talks all about drive. And I have drive. There's no question. So I hope that gives you some insights. And I've done this before, and I'm sure I'll take another episode of the SDM interview show. A couple special things coming up. Next week, we will be posting an interview I did with my friend Jake Forsyth about community involvement, and I hope you all like that. It's a different take. Instead of a business owner, it's about what he does in the community, and Jake's really involved, and I want to highlight and showcase Jake because I love what he does. If you'd like to be a guest on the SDM interview show, if you got something you want to bring to the table, please email me at hello@stunningdigitalmarketing.com. Be glad to talk to you, and let's get you on. Let's do that. And also next week, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, on this channel, I'll be releasing an SDM interview show special. And that special will be an audio version of this Sunday's Ontario Police Memorial ceremony where we honor fallen police officers in Ontario, one of the events I give back to and I've been involved in for many, many years. But I'm going to release that as a special podcast. So if you want to just listen to the ceremony and not watch the video, you will have that option. And from there, that's about all for now. If you want to reach me, reach out at hello@stunningdigitalmarketing.com. If you go to stunningdigitalmarketing.com, my agency website, up at the top right, you'll find links to all our social media sites. Or if you need to pick up the phone and call me, please do, 416-624-7647. Be glad to hear about your projects. I sort of thought and I left to last two surprises I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast. I have two very special announcements coming. We have two new products coming. A membership package, which I put out there to my mailing list and did quite well in pre-beta and beta back in November. And that should be launched by the end of this week. And the other thing we have coming to be launched the next week or two is a special website rental package. And stay tuned for that and the details of that. It's a little different. More both geared at the small businesses. So again, if you have interest, drop us a line. And that's about all for now. I hope everybody has an awesome day. Thanks for listening. Love you all. And talk to y'all soon. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to the SDM interview show. This podcast is a production of StunningDigitalMarketing.com, the agency that can help you with your web design, WordPress security, and digital marketing needs. Please subscribe to this podcast. This podcast can be found on Stitcher Radio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and more. Please don't miss the next edition. This podcast comes out every Thursday for your listening enjoyment. Until next time, please keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. And we'll talk to you all soon. Have a great week, everybody. Bye for now.